Right, I've disassembled the hardware and what have you out of the cabinet, and here's the escutcheon, the Philco Junior. It's held on by 3 brass nails, very, very small. Of course, this is the that holds the speaker in, the speaker screws. It's got that, so we're going to clean those up a little bit. And of course, here's some glue blocks that came out of there, and this is one of the bolts that holds it on the bottom. It's interesting. I was reading the installation, or the paper that came with this when you bought this. I was reading it, and it says to loosen these. Didn't say take them out. It says loosen them when they get there. So I'm going to try to replace that one with another. I think I can find something similar at the hardware store. So we'll clean that up. The grill cloth itself, I do not believe this is the original. It looks like a 1960s version of it or something like that. It's kind of funky. But I'm looking underneath here. I don't know if you can tell it or not, but I'm not sure exactly the pattern that it was. So maybe I can see enough of it to replace it, but I may have to make another one of these if I can't repair this one. Okay, I'm going to start working on the cabinet, gluing it back together. Here's the one of the sides of the radio cabinet, and you can see that it's got some cracks in it. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to put some glue in here and clamp it and put it together, then do some filler on this side. The top, it's going to be about the same way. May not be able to do anything with it, but you know. And then this end also has a little bit of a crack. It's all way up. So I'm going to put some glue in it and see what's going to go on. Then we'll end up stripping it down. I've glued all the cabinet back together, and there's still a few little gaps, but I plan on, after I strip this, I plan on going back with some filler and dressing it up a little bit more. I want to show you something that, because of, if you'll remember, this part apparently got really hot. So, but I want to show you something, because it's so dirty, that I overlooked in the initial assessment. I didn't realize that this had inlay here. I'm hoping to save this the best I can, but we'll address that when we start taking this finish off. One of the major concerns I have, let me swap the camera, is where it got so hot. You can see how the finish buckled up here. Peel back a little bit, but I'm afraid that this inlay has been damaged. But we'll see when we take this finish off. It's a beautiful day in East Tennessee. It's December 27th, around 2 p.m. My mom is up visiting for the holiday. She's 90, and she's resting right now, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to try to get some of this old finish off of here. And like I say, it's like mid-50s, hazy sun, but it's very nice outside. So I got my gloves, heavy-duty gloves, and my lacquer thinner, and my steel wool, and I'm going to see if I can get some of this finish off there. There's the first pass, taking off the finish. Still got to do the top, sides, and bottom, but cleaned up pretty good. Let me show you the inlay. That turned out pretty well, as you can see. Let me handheld this. You can see how it cleaned up pretty good. Still got a little bit more to go. All I did is took some 4/0 steel wool and lacquer thinner, and the inlay over here that I was worried about is pretty good. Still got some filling to do, and then of course refinishing, but it's cleaning up really well. Well, I've gone all over it. Definitely going, it's kind of drying out a little bit now, and that's okay. It's okay. I'm going to go over it again, clean it probably one more time. As you can see, there's still some cracks. I haven't done any patching at all on it. I'm just cleaning the wood up. Around here is going to stay dark. I'm going to darken this. And then this end is, if you'll remember, this is the end over here that gotten so hot. But it's looking really good. There's a crack here, and that's just one of those things we're going to have to live with. I'm going to patch it a little bit, but you know, it's going to add a little character. This end needs a little bit more work on it, and so hopefully I can patch this, put some filler in here, do a little sanding, and then dress this up with some toners and then lacquers. But it's not looking too bad considering what it was. But it's not going to be a brand new cabinet anyway, but I think that has come out really nice. The inlay, going to have some character to it, definitely. I've put a little bit of filler in there, and of course it stands out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do a little touch up with a wood stain pen, and always start with the lightest and work up, and we'll see if we can at least make it look halfway presentable. There you see, touched up a little bit. It's not going to be perfect, but it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb either. So I'm going to touch the rest of it up with this color. And of course we're going to probably go over it with a little bit of stain and then toners and lacquer toners, and it should blend right in. And we will call all these defects character. I've done the filling, and then I took my pen and darkened it a little bit. As you can see, that structurally it's sound, but there's just cracks in it, and we're just going to live with it. I mean, I could take and redo the whole side, but to me, this is part of its journey. I'm just going to repair it and do the best I can with it, and we'll call it character. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and I am going to take and pull a Karate Kid and take some gun stock stain and wipe on, wipe off. Not going to let it set any length of time. I'm just going to wipe it on and wipe it right back off, and we'll see what it does. There's the wipe on and wipe off on just the top. Let's do the rest of it. Here it is afterward. I wiped the stain on, wiped it right off. This side, which was the heated side, turned out probably the best. There was some cracking down here. Now I want to make a note here. You see this? All right, I'm not trying to make this factory. You know, the way I look at it is I want somebody to walk in and say, hey, how old is that? It's 87, 88 years old. Hey, man, does it play? Yeah. Man, that looks great. But it's lived its life. And what we'll end up doing over here is I will use some crayons and clean that up a little bit, put some fill that in a little bit with crayons, and then we will spray this. If you'll notice how much darker the end of this is, the way it's turned, we'll make that with a medium brown toner, probably on each end like this, and that should hide just about all the flaws there. And you see I've already darkened the inside here, and I believe that's about all I'm going to do. I've ordered some grill cloth, and we'll surprise you with that. But we're going to let this cure out a little bit and dry out, and we'll go from there. Another pretty day in East Tennessee. As you can see, I did the filling with the crayon, and I think I'm going to try to shoot some of the toners today. The humidity is 64%, which is, I found that anything above 65%, lacquers doesn't perform well. But let me double check the dew point. If the dew point is within 20 of the temperature, then it's usually okay. 64 degrees with a dew point of 51, so it's within 20. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to darken these and see what it looks like. Here's what I did. I sprayed the top and the sides with cherry toner dye, and then I came back with dark red mahogany and oversprayed the edges. Just kind of oversprayed it. I wanted that effect, the feathered look, kind of on the front and the corner or so. So that's, I'm not going to put any clear lacquer on here today. It seemed to work pretty good with the humidity in the low 60s, but I'm not going to chance it with the clear. I'm going to go back with clear satin when the time comes. I'll wait for a little lower humidity. Well, you've got the color scheme down. You saw how I did the repairs, and the intentional overspray around the corners and the edges. And so I'm going to go ahead and wind this video up. We'll have the grill cloth, a new dial. We'll put the radio in and marry it all together and finish this video up. So, Larry from the hills of Tennessee, thanks for watching. Here we are after about 5 coats of clear satin lacquer. And so, just a little update.